got me falling right back.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would do something like, I wanted to do a beauty video, but I kind of decided to do something to do with the quarantine, I guess. So I was thinking about this for a while. I wrote down 10 shows and I added 5 movies that I love on Netflix that have been getting me through being so bored. Because even when you do your schoolwork and stuff, you can't go anywhere. You're bored out of your freaking mind. So I wrote down some things that I've been watching, and I actually found this journal from 2012. So about like 8 years ago. It took me too long to figure that out. But this journal I wrote back in when I was 11 when my brother was being born and a lot of crap that happened. So I thought it was cool to find it. Kylie's journal, stay out 2012. So I wrote down my favorite stuff in it. Some shows that I've been getting through the quarantine with. I gotta find them first. Here. So I'm going to tell you what they were, and I'm very old-fashioned, so I don't have a camera, so I'm not using my phone to look at the shows. I'm using a notebook because I'm filming on my phone, so I hope you guys enjoy. The first show is TVD, and if I can figure out how to, like, show you what the show looks like the cover picture, I'll definitely put it in the video whenever I announce the show, and text too. So first one is the Vampire Diaries. If you guys don't know anything about this, it, entails Elena, which I loved her so much when I was younger. I started watching the show when I was younger. I loved her so much that I'm still naming my first daughter Elena, spelled that exact same way. Like, I love the show. It is my all-time favorite. I've actually never watched it fully through until now. I used to watch like the first, I guess like the 6th season, because that was my favorite when Damon and Elena were together. And watching it over again, I've had some totally different views on Elena and Damon and Stefan and stuff. So it's about a girl who she's a human. She falls in love with a vampire, and he's got a vampire brother, and there's always somebody trying to come into the town and turn people into vampires and kill Elena, and both brothers have to protect her. It's really, really good, though. Like, it sounds like a cliche Twilight show, but it's really, really good. So, The Vampire Diaries, highly, highly recommended, and Ian Somerhalder is not bad to look at. So, anywho, Stefan's pretty attractive, too, or Paul Wesley, he's pretty attractive, too. Second show is The Tiger King. I'm sure that all of you have heard and seen the memes, but the show is actually really quite interesting in itself, and you think you have an opinion, and it totally changes towards the end, or at least it did for me. I watched it with my mom. Like, we both watched it separately, but we talk about it, and we're kind of on the same pace, like, kind of like a book club kind of thing. So Tiger King's actually really, really super good, and they added a reunion episode that I haven't gotten around to watching yet. Don't know if I want to, because it was interesting, but, like, it wasn't, like, I can't leave my screen, you know. The Vampire Diaries for me is like, I can't leave my screen, but Tiger King's pretty good. If you haven't seen anything like it, or if you don't know anything about the story, just go into it blindly and you'll love it. Third show is Good Girls. I have watched the most recent season of that, I believe, on Netflix. I love this show. My boyfriend left for basic training in January, and I was obsessed with that show. It got me through it for the first, like, week and a half. Because I was crying, for the first week is really hard. For me at least. I'm like, oh, remember this day when they did that, or remember this day last week, you know, that kind of thing. That was really hard for me, but that show really helped me through it. It's about 3 moms they get into this gang, and they're trying to take all this money, and it's super, super good. Fourth show is Fuller House. I'm typically not one for shows that are newer on Nickelodeon or Disney or Netflix that are kind of like kiddie shows, I guess is what I refer to them as, but, it's a really, really good show. I love it, because if you're a person who used to watch Full House, that's why I watch it. Not because, it's really cheesy at times, definitely really cheesy, but I used to watch Full House, so I like seeing the characters develop in this new show, so that's the reason I watch it. So if you watched Full House, I think you'll like Fuller House. Not the show design, but, like, the development of the characters is why I watch. Love is Blind. I actually watched this before the quarantine, and I loved it. It was obsessive. It is a totally new way to look at dating. It is iconic, actually. And it's so funny because the stuff that happens was not scripted. Like, a lot of it was not scripted. So watching it was totally like, I can't believe this is real life kind of thing. So good. Next one is Dexter. Dexter is something I also watched before the quarantine, but it helps through the quarantine. It is an older show. It's older. It's about, it's actually quite ironic. It's about a guy who was a cop, and he's also a serial killer on the side. super good, super interesting. Kind of gets a little confusing at times, but it's a really good show. It has a lot of seasons too, I believe, like 8 or something. Schitt's Creek. I'm not super obsessed with this show, but it's funny and I watch it occasionally when I'm really bored. It's kind of quirky, funny, you know. I'm not too into it, but it's pretty good. It's about this family. They move to this town that they own because they're broke, and I think they have to buy it or something. I haven't gotten really too into it, but it's really entertaining whenever I'm bored. Riverdale, I am obsessed with the show. I don't watch it currently because I don't think there's been any new episodes. Maybe there has been, and I've been kind of out of it because we don't have cable. We just have the, like, Netflix, Hulu, and then I use the CW app to watch Riverdale live. Not live, but the day after, you know, so like to keep up. Riverdale's really good. It's a really good mystery show. It's not too confusing at all. It is so interesting. And it's super, like, you don't expect what happens, and I love that, so... It's a really good show. It's about 4 teenagers, so if you're into, like, teenagers, writing, mystery, stuff like that, killing, it's a really good show. Victorious, if you guys are fans of Victorious, like I was when I was younger, I watched it just because I like reminiscing my childhood. So if you guys like, you know, like watching childhood stuff, which is also another reason I watch Fuller House, to remind me of Fuller House, definitely a good show to watch, just to reminisce, you know, being a kid. If you're in the same generation I'm in. That 70s show, I don't watch full episodes of this all the time, but I do watch, like, video clips and stuff because that 70s show is actually hysterical, and I think I'm gonna start watching it soon, actually, so that's definitely something really funny. I'm sure most of you have heard of that 70s show. It came on, I think, when I was younger, or maybe a little bit before my time, but it was a really good show. I like watching the clips and stuff, so I think I'm gonna start watching the real show. I know it involves teenagers and Mila Kunis. I don't know if it's Mila or Mila, but I love her anyway. So I think I'm gonna start watching that. 5 movies that I added were The Kissing Booth. Really good. It's kind of a teenager movie, if you're into that, but it's really good, and I like watching it just because it reminds me of a younger time in my life, and I love that movie. It's about a teenager, and she falls in love with her best friend's brother, and she knows she shouldn't, and that's always been the rule, don't fall in love with my brother, but she did, so it's a really good movie. Despicable Me, also a childhood favorite of mine, came out when I was 9. Love that movie. It was seriously a good childhood staple for me when I was little to get me through stuff. I'm not really going to go into that movie because I'm sure most of you know what it's about, but that's a good one to watch too. They just added it to Netflix. A Cinderella Story, really good childhood favorite of mine too. Came out when I was really like a baby, I think, but I watched it when I was growing up because it was only a few years old, and I love Hilary Duff, so it's a modern day Cinderella story. You guys know Cinderella, so. Step Brothers, I just watched this. Oh my gosh, I just realized I added 6 movies. Oh no, I added 5. I just used one line for 2. Never mind. Anyways, Step Brothers is really funny. I watched it with my mom the other day. They just added that to Netflix, and it's also my boyfriend's favorite movie with me, so I like that movie too. The Bounty Hunter has Jennifer Aniston. Love that. She's her ex-husband's a bounty hunter, and he's trying to get her arrested because she missed court, I think. Such a good movie. One of my favorite love movies ever. Honest to goodness. Love that movie. That is all the movies and TV shows I have. I hope that you guys can watch some of those if you haven't seen them and get through the quarantine and hold on just like the rest of us are. It's really hard, but we all got each other and we're all going to get through it. So those shows and movies are really good. Hope you guys found those interesting. I didn't go into detail on a lot of them because I'm sure most of you guys know what they are. They're not shows that typically people don't know about. So anyways, if you guys have any questions or suggestions for new videos, leave them down in the comments, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.